Hi, my name is MK Fleming. I'm the founder of the Fitness Protection Program, and I do a lot of training of runners, but I don't do any one-on-one training with any runners. Well, that's not true. I do it with a handful, but it's not a product that I'm selling on the website. I'm not taking new one-on-ones at the moment. The reason I wanted to document my return, to call it that, is to show you how I speak to my coach and the conversations that we have, because I feel like there's a major disconnect since the sport has been so secretive for so long about how elites train. I'm not elite, but how people train and what they do and how they think. And when I've had pre-race calls with clients in the past, what they think that's going to be and what it actually is so different that I'm always disappointing someone, which is not something I ever strive to do. So by trying to keep in my tradition of being as transparent as humanly possible, my coach, Tia Accetta, has generously agreed to record our conversations, at least until the New York City Marathon, while we try to get this old body back into gear, and then see where we can go from there. Because this is the first time, realistically, ever, where there's nothing ahead. I'm done having babies. Like, we can't even accidentally get pregnant again, and that is going to be amazing. And now with no obvious time out in the future, let's just see how fast I can get and how long we can keep going. That for me is it's exciting, it's exhilarating, and the one thing I know for sure is I have no business whatsoever making any decisions about my own training. The whole value that a one-on-one coach provides, and the reason why it's really hard to sell, is that what we're selling is objectivity. I met Coach Tia in 2016 at a training for our CA level 2. Never took the exam. Sorry about that. I just forgot. ADHD. I wasn't medicated then. I forgot a lot of things. But to that end, what struck me about Tia immediately is that having such a different viewpoint on running for most of my life, since I basically learned to run under threat of immediate death after my father's widowmaker, and he had to start jogging as part of his cardio rehab. I grew up in a cardio rehab clinic. My view on what we're doing and why has been decidedly different. And although I know a bit about training and coaching, I'm still never going to be an objective participant in my own training. And I know and trust Tia enough and know that her outlook is similar to mine, but with, is it fair to say, different trauma? Mm-hmm. Been informed by different trauma. It's been a long road for you in a lot of ways, and I love being on this journey with you, and I love kind of putting my training entirely in your hands. So with that said, at this point forward, that's an idea of what I'm going to be doing in this video series, just recording these conversations, and now I'm going to turn it over to Coach Tia to make sure she has the information she needs to get my happy ass to the start line in November, because I've not been moving in 6 weeks. Yay.
All right. Well, I want to say welcome back.
Thank you.
To training. I missed you. So it's been about 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. 6 weeks of no running, no Pilates, nothing, correct?
Nothing.
Okay. Which is rare for you because you are usually doing 3 different activities every day. Mm-hmm. Correct. Okay. Correct. So I'm super excited that you are excited. And I think my biggest job right now is to help you just try to rein you in and not let you just go like you want to, because you have this marathon coming up. Mm-hmm. So what I would like for us to figure out is how to make this a gradual process for the next 4 to 6 weeks, so you are feeling every day stronger and stronger, yet not overtrained and having any setbacks. So just some of the basics I would like to know for your schedule is how many runs do you see yourself doing each week? You see yourself running every day?
Yes. Well, not 7 days a week. I think 5 is probably a good place to start. I don't want I'm cognizant now, and I realize they're all 42-day rolling averages, but my bipolar is screaming at me like, overload, which is, a little nerve-wracking. But if it feels like, I feel fine. Like, if you ask me, my ankles are just a little bit like, what's happening? Because I've been
they're in shock,
completely down for so long. Yeah, it's definitely fair to say they're in a bit of shock. Okay. But for the most part, I feel all right. So that aside from, the Trump score screaming at me every time I plug my watch in, I will do as much as I can or as much as I'm able.
Okay. So far you did, I think you've done about 3 runs and they sounded all positive. You felt good except for the ankles.
Yes.
You felt pretty good. And that was running between 30 to 50 or 55 minutes. So staying sort of within that range of, if you're okay with this, of letting you sort of see where you are that day between the 30 minutes and let's say an hour, between that time frame. And if you go out for a run and you're feeling like you can hit 60 minutes that day, go for it. Knowing that then the next day might not feel so well and you might need to go closer to 30 minutes. But that type of just back and forth, gradual build up, really listening to your body for 5 days a week. Does that sound like enough structure for now?
It does. I can work with that.
If ideally, what would you like to see on your schedule? Like aside from pace, I don't want to focus no pace work, no pace goals right now. Aside from that, would you like to see any additional information like heart rate or specific mileage, or can we keep it pretty fluid for now?
I'm good to keep it fluid. I don't know what's smart. I don't know I don't know where the line is where we would descend into stupid. And I'm right for you to set all of that for me, because not to say I'm stupid, but my default will always be, when I don't know what else to do, 30 to 60 minutes running at easy effort, throwing strides in when I feel like I can, and then do the long run on weekends, or just like, I think I'm got a little energy to burn. It's late at night. I'm just going to go for an easy effort run before bed or something. So in lieu of that's more my problem. I would never do more than that. Like, am I really strong enough for a tempo run? Probably not. I don't really need to do intervals yet, which isn't really not that I'm lazy. Again, just not. I always tend to operate on the side of I'm probably not there yet. So, I see. I'm not going to be like, I haven't seen hills there. Do you not love me anymore? Because I've never done that.
Okay.
At the same time, though, it's like when you think it's time to pick things up a bit, I'm not going to say no, but I'd be shocked. I don't imagine I'm going to be like coming at you like hammering, because I never have. Like that's not going to start now. Like, I'm ready for this. Let's go, coach.
Right. And that's, I feel pretty comfortable with you in that you're not going to do anything stupid. But having said that, I want to make sure that you're getting what you need from me. So if you'd rather see more specific, run for 50 minutes today, run for 35 minutes today, run for 45 minutes today, I'm fine with that too.
And, as long as you're what, like, I'm happy to go with like, here's the range 45 to 60 or, 50 to 70. Ranges are fine. I'm good where I'm not the person that's always going to like opt for the higher end of the range. Okay. At the same time, if the numbers are not adding up well, or there's anything that you're like, we need to back it off a bit, you're probably going to know it before I will, because right now I feel like the run I did this morning, I had no idea my heart rate was as high as it was. It didn't feel like a hard run. Right. But I was talking and, right, all that neuromuscular patterning, I'm just going back to default on autopilot, what I used to do. It's almost instinctual. Right. Where I'm not fit enough to maintain those paces at an easy effort and talk. And does that, yeah. Yeah. Because my ankles are sore whether I'm walking or because I was, like supine for so long.
Right. So that's
always in shock. You don't pay attention to anything else.
That'll go away with time. That'll take time. So I like working within ranges. I like to give you a little bit of independence in deciding, if you're going to do the high or the low end of the range. And this is only going to be, I would say the longest this type of schedule would be is 6 weeks at the longest, just building you back into a solid base. but it could be less. Seeing that you're coming back and you're feeling pretty good. Again, I don't want to rush anything, but I don't think you need to go all the way back to square one where we would do like an 8-week base building phase. So I can see this sort of more fluid schedule for at least 4 weeks and maybe 6 weeks, and then kind of move into the more structured tempo runs, and throwing in a little bit of pace work every now and then, and maybe some hills every now and then. So that'll all come. But for now, I just really want it to be based on you feeling the best you possibly can feel when you're running.
Okay.
So and I actually think it's a good thing if you finish and think, oh, I could do more. Don't, but feeling like that is good. So I'd rather you feel like, oh, I could do more than, oh man, I am wiped out, because this isn't the time in your training for that. So that'll come. And so that's all good info. Some more specifics I need from you is, are you still going to be doing your the Pilates and strength? Are you doing strength work? Is that what you do with your PT?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll be doing little bouts of PT every day. Not huge amounts, but like 5 to 10 minutes. That will be ongoing for my spine.
Okay.
And also to get my core back together from where the doctors cut right through it. So, but that's going to be just like minimal, ongoing type of stuff. The Pilates, I'm very hopeful that now I feel less lax. I'm not going to need as much of it. I'm already like, it's a tough thing to articulate, but I remember how I felt after I had the baby, and how I felt the morning that my shoulder became dislocated, and how I was starting to feel again about 8 weeks before the surgery, when I was like, something's wrong. I'm going the wrong direction. That is gone. That entire sensation is completely gone. Which is kind of, it's the first time I've been really kind of like cautiously optimistic, but truly hopeful that this could still be a really good cycle. Cause I couldn't have done, if you had put me out to doing hard effort runs, back in May, I just don't think my body could have taken it. Now I'm like, not saying I'm going to go run up every hill, but I don't feel like this, if I ran into the wall, I don't feel like I would lose an arm again.
Okay. So you definitely have more confidence in your body.
Yes.
Good. And I think, I mean, for me, looking long-term, not long-term, but up to New York, I would love it if the goal is to feel as strong and as confident as you possibly can in your body. Maybe not specifically for this marathon, but just in general, so that you feel by the time you get to the starting line, you're like, I could do anything right now. Right. Give me anything and I can do it. And so just that general feeling of strength and confidence and power. And so it's awesome to hear you say that already you're feeling like your arm's not going to fall off. That's good. I'm glad. So I don't worry about, I think you have the strength down, the core piece down. I think your nutrition, how's that?
It's coming back back in the right direction for sure. I ate a lot of stuff people brought to me during my illness, but yeah, it's kind of everybody, like, it's amazing what people do when you're sick or when you're down. Like, they make these elaborate things and I'm like, is this how people live, or is just what they do for sick people? I would never make this for any of you. I love you all, but really. I've had a lot of really good food, and that is all over now.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad. Healing food. That's what you needed.
Healing food. Okay. Exactly.
So you don't have any concerns about nutrition or you've got that all down. Okay. So we'll focus on the 5 days a week. You really listening to your body and knowing if you want to go the 45 minutes or the 55 minutes, but keeping it within that just feeling good range. So if you do meet up with a friend and you're chatting and you go a little too hard, as long as you can still chat, you're okay. And then if we could talk again in 4 weeks and just see where you're at, whether we want to kind of go ahead and add in some strides or some pace work, or if you feel like you need a couple more weeks of just the aerobic, getting back that running economy and that ease of running, then that's what we can figure out then.
Okay.
Does it sound okay?
It does.
Okay, so just these little nitpicky things for the schedule. What 5 days do you prefer to run?
Monday through Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So Thursday, Sunday is the off days generally.
Okay. Perfect. I got that. And if you do feel like throwing in a 20-minute shakeout run at some point, I won't put it in the schedule, but you'll do it, and then I'll see it. And then if I see that there's a pattern where a couple nights a week you're always doing a 20-minute shakeout run, then I can start putting that in if you want. And if your 20-minute shakeout run starts turning into like, a tempo run, then I might tell you to back off. But that sort of the way that works. We've been working together long enough now. So I'll keep an eye on you and let me know if anything comes up.
I will. I was planning on slowly reintroducing Pilates next week. There's a class on Tuesday nights that I could jump into after the kids go to bed. And I could jog there, and it's not that far away. It's like if I run through the park, I think it's like 1.2 miles.
Cool.
So 1.2 miles there, 1.2 miles home.
Yeah, that's perfect. Right? It just gives you a chance to kind of get warmed up and cool down, and nothing too intense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great. I'm super excited. This seems really positive, and New York, here you come.
Do you have any concerns about my ability to, what would you tell me as we kind of start? I mean, I have no expectations. I never did. I've always kind of said, I just want to see how fast I can get between here and there. But obviously what it's going to be now is not what I thought I was. Do you have any concerns about me being even able to participate? There was a point back in May when I couldn't even run 80 minutes without sort of falling apart.
I at this point right now, just listening to you talk and what you've said about the confidence in your body, I don't feel concerned about it. I feel like you're at a point now where everything's on track. And I think the 13 weeks is a perfect amount of time to get you, again, feeling strong enough that I can do this. I'm not going to say that you're going to go with this, this is going to be my PR marathon.
I just want to break 4.
Right. Yep. I just want to break 4. And you know what? I think that's a very reasonable expectation, but we're also not going to focus on that right now. No. Just going to sort of let your body be the guide and really follow along with it. The hardest part, obviously, is just as a busy person, is going to be getting in the time on your feet as those runs get longer, and just being out there, putting in that time. And that's the trick for any marathon. Anyone running a marathon is putting in the time. So right now, it'll be pretty manageable, but as the weeks go on and you're out there a little longer and getting a little more fatigued, that's the challenge. And I think as long as you can handle that with, whatever you need to do to manage that time, and to be out there for, eventually you'll want to be out there for 3.5 hours. As long as you can manage that, I think the marathon will actually feel like I don't know, almost like a rebirth, or sort of just that excitement and that just gratitude to be out there. I think you'll have no problem with the actual race. So it's going to be those few weeks of just that nitty gritty. I got to just be out here doing this. I have so much to do. I'm leaving my family for this chunk of time. That's the hard part. But if you can get through that, race day is going to be fine.
Good.
So prep for that. That'll be coming, and let's see, probably around at the end of 6 weeks, we'll start to build up that time on your feet. So
I feel behind.
No, you'll be right on time. It'll be great.
Well, considering the conversation we had before we started this recording, I told, my PRs, I gave them to you, and these are not things obviously that I share publicly. Does it sound unreasonable to think that I could, obviously not PR this training cycle. I don't have a time limit on it, but do you think it is possible to get back to that level? Oh yeah.
I think you're going to be shocked actually by what your body can do. If you had spent the last 10 years, just giving it all you've got, I might say that this might be sort of the end, but you haven't. So you have all of this energy and all your muscles, they're ready. They need to be used. This is your time. And so I think in the next 3 to 5 years is a really great window for you, and you need to make the most of it. You owe it to yourself, right? To get in there and do whatever you need to do to let that your ability out. And so I think it's the perfect time. I really do. I think women have a good 5 to 10 year range of consistent hard training. And you haven't really used that yet. You haven't even really tapped into that yet, I don't think.
No.
So
I was stubborn, and I was a kid. Who felt like she didn't belong and would try too hard to prove it the one day a week she saw everybody.
Right. Yep. And that's it's a shame, but it's also amazing that you were able to do that. So it's kind of exciting, right? To see, okay, well now what can I do when I'm actually
smart,
training, smart, so wise.
Okay. Were there any concerns? I also mentioned I've been going public this past week about my ADHD diagnosis and my intention to get back on Adderall after the New York Marathon. Do you currently train anyone who takes, obviously I don't need to know names, but do you currently work with any people who are taking powerful stimulants for medical reasons at the moment?
I'm not, no. But to be honest, I haven't asked, and no one's volunteered that information. So I don't know, I guess would be a better answer.
Okay. So I just wondered if you had any specific concerns. Obviously, as we get back on it, that'll come up later. But I guess the most useful thing, since you're more in the world of, elite stuff, and I'm nowhere near it, it would kind of, if you could help me figure out where that point's going to be, where as I go back towards at some point, as I get back towards my PRs, I might start attracting some attention, and I'm never going to lie about the drugs I take. But if there is a point where, hey, if you want to continue past this point, we're going to have to reconsider, or maybe look at we're either going to have to get rid of Adderall, get waivers for it. At what point is the game going to change due to the medication I really need to take to keep my family together? There's a part of me that would be like, I would rather stay the course and just show up and be that person who wins. But if I win the marathon, but I can't take home the prize money because I've admitted to taking the substance, I'm kind of okay with that. The time's the time. Right. Does that make sense? But at what point do we need to start worrying about that? I've heard that they're going to do blood passports for age groupers at the Abbott Marathon majors. And obviously it's not a problem this time, but at some point I might have to start disclosing marathon investigation. It could start operating again any moment. And if I just don't want to be in the wrong crosshairs, I'd rather be in front of everything. Like I had to go through most of my academic life with people, you know, being like, oh, she cheated when I wasn't even taking the medication. It's like, no, all they could say is that like, you know, like I'm confident I'm getting things done. I'm proud of myself. Like, can you not see the change in me? But how dare you reduce me to cheating I wasn't even like running well back then. I wasn't, you know what I mean? Like there was nothing about me that was excellent other than how I felt about myself after I started taking this medication. And at some point this medication could be used to undermine any excellence that I pursue. If you could just help me figure out where that line is, that would be awesome. I'd just like to know as I get close to it, but we're probably not going to be close to it, frankly, to be perfectly honest, for a very long time.
Well, I think I love that that you're willing to talk about it and kind of be the voice, because I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. It's not something I've ever talked to another athlete about. So I'm really actually curious of, you know, if it is something that other women runners are dealing with or have questions about or are scared of, you know. But I think, I mean, for all of us, why we run and why we do anything for the most part is to feel good and competent and confident, right? And so that's what you're doing, and you need to do it. And then, like you said, if it came up where you could go win a marathon but not take home the prize money, oh well, right? Yeah. And then if it came to a point where you would have to decide, then you know, there's avenues, like you said, a waiver and just knowing ahead of time enough to plan for it. But I don't see why I wouldn't want you to shy away from anything because of the fear of, oh, what will people say? Or will they call me a cheater? Right? Yeah. I mean, that's silly. So, but I do need to find out more about, you know, what happens if you want to go run in the elite, the Chicago Marathon as an elite runner, and you're at the meeting and they're maybe wanting to do a urine sample. And, you know, at that point you would probably need to have paperwork and everything filled out ahead of time. So those kinds of things could come up. And that's, I think it's definitely something that we could work through. I don't think it would be a deal breaker.
Okay. Do you know of anyone that is taking some sort of drug that qualifies on that list, like for medical reasons that could be construed? I know there's a whole class of steroids that older people, like it's common in masters runners, right? The people your husband's age, sorry, and older, like if they start taking things to keep their body from falling apart. There is a story recently about a man, an 86-year-old guy who hadn't run since he was young, had been really fast, started taking like something like prednisone. I know nothing about steroids, but started taking some drug for his lungs that made him feel like a kid again. And he started entering all these races only to have his award stripped from him because he was taking, you know, it's like he came out of nowhere. Someone complained, and, you know, it's not like he took the drug to get faster. Right. I believe him the way he tells the story. I took this and like a kid, so I decided to do the things I did as a kid. Exactly. I don't know what cheating looks like. I certainly don't want to be accused of it, but it feels like there's a lot more finger pointing now than there was back before I had a Garmin. Right. I just want to know what I'm navigating, since I haven't formally and officially been in the type of elite corrals. I'm old. I've been doing this 20 years. When I started, there's no drug test and there's no girl. Like everybody showed up and ran, and there were only like 30 of us because right.
On time, and you go, and the streets are open. Everyone's driving around. Make it to the finish line alive. Great. Yeah. No, it's changed, and I mean, you have great the points you bring up are really interesting. And so I will have to talk again after we know more information. But I think, being prepared and sort of having, maybe talking to, I'll talk to Randy obviously and see what he knows, but talking to a race director of one of the bigger marathons, and just, be interesting to write to somebody and say, what would happen if,
yeah.
Let's see if you get any response.
I know somebody who works in the controller's office at New York Roadrunners. Maybe she can pass me in.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's a conversation to keep having.
Well, I mean, it's not like I can hide the fact that I have ADHD. I think it's kind of obvious.
No, it's not.
Farm.
It is. You're so cool and energetic.
And I mean, I know the irony of if I have this much energy now, what's it going to look like on a stimulant? It's funny. It brings me down.
Yeah, right. Like you said, that's how you know, right? You know, because it doesn't do what it would do to another person. It doesn't bring you up. It brings you down, which knows that it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. I'm also not snorting it, which is good. I feel like that's a pretty sure sign you don't need to be taking that. You didn't get it from a doctor.
If you have to snort it, it's probably not okay.
And it's probably also, ironically, not going to give you an advantage in the race you're about to run. So how this got on the banned list is beyond me.
Right.
But I could talk all day long about it. I've had to take it. I'm like, I'll put it this way. I cannot imagine taking the short uptake version that I have to take when the longer version is slower to metabolize in the morning. I cannot imagine taking that and then going for a run. That sounds terrible to me.
Would you like spinning around the track, like round and round and round, or would you be like totally down?
I would at first I would have no sense, number one, of how fast I was going. I would have no gauge where my heart rate was. If it was, it wouldn't be fun. Like there's nothing, because your heart rate does accelerate while you're on the short version. That does not happen on the extended release. It doesn't feel like you're taking a stimulant. The short one does. I'm like, I kind of want to sit real still in a controlled environment. The last thing I would want to do is show up to like practice or run on a track on it. So I don't know. I have all the drugs you could possibly take in the way I've heard Lance Armstrong and Floyd Landis describe their doping experience. It is nothing like taking Adderall, but period, much less taking it for performance. So there's a part of me that kind of like wants to like Google it, but I'm afraid I get on an FBI watch list. Like, how does one cheat with this?
You're now pegged. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, one time I couldn't remember the word. I know Randy's from Colorado, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went after we moved here. I couldn't remember the word for the ski mask with the mouth opening. So I Googled mask with a mouth hole. And my Google life has not been the same since. I have to think twice before. Like, you can't actually totally clear your cache forever. Like, it comes back. It's like Google remembers. So Google already thinks I'm a freak. And because balaclava is the word if you ever need it. Oh my God. But that is
showing you all kinds of
destroyed. I'm not adding more to that.
No. That's hilarious. I know I have to remind my kids of that a lot. Like, you guys got to be careful, because if you're, that's going to follow you for the rest of your life.
It does. This is proof. 6 years later, I'm still like.
You're still suffering?
I mean, I have to think twice, like, could this be sexish? Oh, no, it was. I got it wrong. Like, I can't just Google what I want to Google.
Not what I wanted.
No, and when I have several Gmail accounts, and it doesn't matter which one I'm signed in as. Like, if the original is signed in, it's like, oh, you're all freaks. Like, no, I'm not. Just want to breathe and not get my glasses foggy.
It's cold here. I know. Yeah. So crazy. The world is crazy.
Yes.
Yes. But the running keeps us sane, right?
I think my coach keeps me sane, because otherwise God knows what I'd be doing if left to my own devices.
Yeah, I don't think I can take the credit. I think all of us runners are like, if we didn't have running, what would we be doing right now? Just off the rails, I think.
Probably. I mean, there's only so much food you can make for your children.
Right? Only so much Netflix, only so many soccer games I can sit through. I'm gotten really good at squeezing in runs around soccer practice and soccer games and baseball, and
A lot.
so
That's a lot of outdoor time to live in a hot place.
yeah, yes, it is. It is. But I mean, it'll get better over time, and then it's perfect. And then, you can run all year round. So when you are sitting in your car in a blizzard trying to psych yourself up to get out to run, it's only 70 degrees here. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. But you have all the wildlife. Like I see the reminders. These are all the things in Yellowstone that can kill you.
Yeah.
Don't walk near them with your children. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure they all live near where you are too.
There are some deadly creatures out there. Yeah. Yeah. So, well, it's so nice to talk to you.
Same here. Thank you for letting me take up probably quadruple, if not more, of the time that
we were due for a good catch up.
I appreciate your patience as always. Thank you, Tia.
And thank you for sticking with it. It's great. So we'll talk again for weeks or so. A few weeks.
Sounds good.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too. And don't forget to send me the links you want me to give you credit with and stuff.
Okay. Okay.
So I can be like in the video, this is Tia Accetta of Run Tucson.
Ooh, okay.
Click here to learn more.
I forgot that you do big things.
I don't do small.
No, you don't. No. I know. This is why I love you. I need you to rub off on me a little bit.
I'll just take care of it. It's good.
Okay.
You don't have to change. We call this organic growth in the business world.
Okay. Organic growth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You got me.
Inorganics when you try and then the efforts are wasted. Yeah.
Okay.
When one company acquires another, it's inorganic growth and it never works.
It doesn't work.
It does not work.
I like organic. You can do that.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay. I have children.
Go mom it. Go mom so hard.
Okay. I will. Thank you. Okay. See you later.